welcome to Keeping It Unfiltered. I am your host, Monet, and today is the first official episode. Yes, we're excited. Today's topic is soulmates versus toxic ties. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that this is all my opinion, unless I say otherwise. It's based off of different situations that I was able to see up front, or it's based off of my own experiences and my own situations that I've been in. Okay, so to get started, we're going to talk about what is a soulmate. I got this definition straight off Google. I'm not even going to hold you. And it's because I agree with it, and I feel like it put it together in a nutshell. So, a soulmate is a person ideally suited to another as a close friend or romantic partner. So that's pretty much, self-explanatory. We'll dive into it in a little bit. And then for toxic ties, I didn't see an exact definition for it, but I'll just tell you my definition. I feel like a toxic tie is something that ties people together for more than just intercourse. So, like, the reason why I didn't use soul ties, because I feel like it focuses on intercourse, and I'm using intercourse because I don't know how YouTube feel about the other word. So, yeah, there's other ways people can be bonded, such as, like, traumatic experiences, history, or even, like, them feeling stuck. Okay? Just keep that in mind. To me, a soulmate is someone that loves you for you. They love you for the person you are, like your unique features. They love you because, you're a caring person, you're a loving person, your morals. And also, your soulmate is going to be someone that aligns with you. So those morals that you have, those values that you have, they'll have the same thing. Now, you guys won't be like the exact same person, but for example, like if you want marriage, they're going to want marriage too. I believe people change their mind about marriage along the way, and that's up to you if you want to get with someone who does not have that same value with you at the moment. It could be because you're like, oh, we're young. But if y'all in it for years and that person is still like they don't want kids or they don't agree with marriage, especially heavy on the marriage part, I feel like, you probably shouldn't. Because one thing about guys, and I'm going to just say this, ladies, they know who they want to marry and they know who is wifey material and stuff. I'm not saying you're not wifey material because he didn't say that. Like, it could be his ideal of marriage. Like, I literally had somebody tell me one time, like, they think marriage is a contract. Obviously not somebody I was talking to, because marriage is not a contract, at least in my eyes. I know you guys sign a piece of paper, but still, it's more that go into it. And another thing too, you have to understand, like, this is a mutual beneficial relationship. So as much as you want to put into them, like the time, the effort, the catering, like it's not going to be one-sided in this soulmate relationship. That can even be with your friends. They're going to equally do the same to you. They got your back, you got their back. The next topic is toxic ties. This is how I feel about toxic ties. I wrote a list of like different toxic bonds, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to enjoy these bonds, but it shouldn't be all about the bonds. Outside of this, you should be able to talk to your partner, spend time with your partner, have a regular, intimate conversation with your partner, have a conversation about any issues that you have. Like, that's what make that person your soulmate, in my opinion. The first one starting off with intercourse. Let me tell you something. The only way that you can relate to your partner or feel your partner is when they're into you. So you don't know if they're into you unless they're into you. That's not okay. That's absolutely not okay. Going on to the next part, bonded by traumatic experiences. And I feel like this happens a lot. Like, just because you and the person you're dealing with has a traumatic past and you feel like they understand you, that means absolutely nothing. Like, yes, it's nice that they understand you and maybe they're able to relate more. But at the end of the day, like, is that the only place that you guys are relating? Like, do you guys have the same goals, the same morals? And it doesn't even have to be the same exact goal as far as like, you know, okay, you want to be a partner of a firm. They don't have to want to be a partner of a firm, but what I'm saying is they should want to be a better person. You know, like they should want to be a better person, or do things to make them better. Y'all should be moving forward equally. Another thing is bonded by history. Let me tell y'all, I'm gonna be real. This was me. This literally was me in one of my long-term relationships. I'm not specifying, but I just was like, we've been in it for so long, regardless if we're going through any issues or problems, like we can make it through. Listen, okay? If you feel like you are not getting, your best out of that person, as far as like them catering to you, just like you cater to them, leave. It does not matter about the history, especially when you feel like you guys aren't even seeing eye to eye and it's been like such a long time since you guys seen eye to eye. This kind of ties in with the next part too. Like people staying because of love. Like just because you love that person. Just because you love that person doesn't mean you need to stay with that person. You can love somebody that's hurting you. And I know that might sound crazy to some people, especially people who haven't been in love, but at the same time, you shouldn't sit there and continuously deal with them and put up with things that you feel like you don't deserve. Leave. That's all I got to say with that. The next thing is about feeling stuck. This is disregarding abuse. I don't know who need to hear this, but you are not stuck. Especially when you feel like, oh, I gotta be with this. Like, you feel like that's your soulmate. But at the end of the day, it kind of ties in with the whole, like, bonded by history and bonded by love. You do not have to stay with them. You're not getting the treatment you deserve. You're reaping zero benefits after relationship. You're crying every day. Friendship or intimate relationships. Or it could even be dealing with your family. Like, that's a toxic relationship. That's not something that you should be in. Don't get me wrong. Like, when I'm naming all these things, I'm not saying that you can't sit there and kind of like try to wait it out, because I understand that, especially when you are in those relationships where you've been with this person for years and it did start off amazing and you're like, okay, maybe we're just hitting a rough patch, because couples do hit a rough patch. What I'm just saying is, don't spend your time in there forever. Like, at a certain point when you realize that it's getting to your mental health and that you can't even function sometimes, or you're just still thinking in your head like how this person could do this to me, but you've been thinking like that for months, you gotta go. And that's another topic for another day, but I'm just saying you have to go. And then another thing, the last thing that I have on here is staying with the person. Actually, I have two things. One thing is staying with the person because of the benefits. And I know some of y'all guilty, okay? So if you are that person that's staying with somebody because they buy you nice things, they give you money all the time, they give you rides because you have no car, no license, no shade to anybody who doesn't, but I'm just saying these are literally the situations, and you're just taking from them, that's toxic. That's absolutely toxic. Or even if you're in a friendship where you're constantly taking from your friend, but you have nothing to give or you don't want to give and you're being selfish on your end, that's toxic. If that's the case, exit that, let that person go. Like, don't take advantage of them. Let them go. There's too many times where people are sitting there taking advantage of others just for their own good. Well, obviously, if you take advantage of somebody, it's for your own good. But I'm just saying, like, it's just not the right thing to do, and let that person go. And if you are the one being taken advantage of, if you can identify with anything that I just said, which I think I'm about to say, leave. It's not going to be easy, but leave. My last point is thinking you can change their mind. And here's why this is toxic. You cannot change a person. If a person wants to sit here and deal with numerous people, or they want to be evil and rude, or if they're just straight up a-holes, like, and they have no intentions of changing, let them go. Let them go. Because I see it too many times where people stay in these relationships all because they feel like they can change their mind or they can change them as a person. This even goes for little things, such as like, this is more based on relationship too, instead of friendship. Because if your friend want to do what they want to do, I mean, it is what it is. But I'm saying your partner, if they're complaining about how they have no money all the time and you're constantly putting out and they're comfortable with taking, yet they don't want to get a job, to me, that's kind of a red flag. I'm just saying, it's not right. Of course, you guys do what you want, but I'm just saying, like, it's something to definitely look at. And if you do have a partner like that, sit down and discuss with them, like, hey, babe, like, you should probably get a job. Okay. Now I'm going to get into the questions. I pretty much answered them while I was talking. But there are a few that I did, like, leave to the end. So the first one is, how do you break a soul tie? Now, this is one where nobody's going to like my answer. But like how I said, leave. One of the first steps of doing that is literally creating the out of sight, out of mind mindset. So therefore, you got to get rid of that person. Like, you got to stay away from them. I don't care if that means that you got to block them on everything. I'm talking social media. I'm talking phone. Yeah, well, that's pretty much all you could block them on. But yeah, block them. Act like they don't even exist anymore. And another thing, if you want to take it a step further, delete all your pictures. Delete all your text messages. It sounds like a lot and it sounds really hard, but I promise once you cross that step, especially when you know in your heart that y'all aren't going to be together anymore, especially if they do something that's a deal breaker for you, that's when you sit there and you say, like, okay, I need to put my foot down and let this person go. Let them go. Let them go for two reasons. Not only so that you can heal, but also so you can be in peace. And that person can be in peace as well. Because it's not fair to stay in those situations and hold whatever they did to you over their head. Completely not fair. I'm a true believer of that. So, like, even though somebody does something to you, I don't think that you should stay in, whether it is a friendship or like a relationship, and you're going to constantly hit them over the head with it all the time. Like, it's just not right. Just leave. The last question I have is, do you believe like a soulmate can come back into your life? Now, here's the thing. I do believe soulmates can come back, and they don't have to have a malicious intent. But sometimes I do believe that is God or whoever, you believe in, letting you know, hey, this is a reason why you should not be with this person. This is the reason why you did not marry this person. This is the reason why you didn't have kids with this person. Hear me out when I say this. If you are to take somebody back into your life that you love, take your time. Like, you have to really observe them. And also when they come back, if you do truly believe that this is your soulmate, like I said, not only you're going to take your time, but you're also going to sit there and have a conversation about everything that you did not like in your previous relationship and talk about how it's going to be different this time around. Without a conversation about that, you're honestly going to get nowhere. And push come to shove, it's going to be a cycle of what previously went down. And I know some people could say, like, oh no, like we just want to forget about it and we want to move on. It's not going to work like that. Because even when you feel like your partner forgave you for something, or if they feel like you forgave them for something, but you low-key holding on to it, or it's low-key some type of hurt, it's going to come out eventually. Might not come out that first week, that first month, but it's going to come out. And I'm pretty sure y'all don't want to be arguing about something that happened months ago when y'all could have had a whole conversation about that when y'all first met up. And moving forward, just try to be the best partner you can be. But yeah, that wraps up the first episode of Keeping It Unfiltered. Didn't want it to be too long for you guys. Even if it is too long, I'm sorry. But we had a lot to talk about today. The next topics will be posted on Sunday, and stay tuned for your next episode on Thursday. And also listed below, I do have the streaming platforms. If they're not uploaded today, they will be uploaded shortly. So, like within the next few days, because I think it takes a while for the what I'm using to disperse the podcast. But yeah, okay. Well, everyone, have a great night, and thank you for tuning in.